Welcome to today's session. Today we'll discuss the module 3 manipulating strings of subject code BPLCK105B and 205B. Let's begin. So let's first understand how we can work with strings. So one thing you have to remember is strings are identified easily if you see some values which are encoded, which are beginning and ending with a single quote or a double quote, then it's a string. For example, this one, right? This is a string. I can easily say because it is enclosed between double quotes, or it can also be enclosed between single quotes. Now, suppose I want to use some kind of special characters into my string. Let's say single quote I want, double quotes I want, or I want to have a tab, or I want to have a new line, or I want to have a backslash. Then you have to use an escape character. So escape character will help us to use characters that are otherwise impossible to put into a string. Okay, so let's see in the Jupyter notebook how we can create a string. So suppose I have a simple string like this. I want to type a simple string enclosed within double quotes or single quotes, and let's say Python, and you just print this, right? So Python is printed. Now suppose in my text I want to have spaces, right? I want to have multiple lines uh, in my string. Then what you have to do is you have to begin it with a slash. So slash, and then if you type n, so that means slash n means I'm going to put a new line. So you get an output something like this: hello there, how are you in the next line? And I'm doing fine in my next line because I've introduced slash n here as well as here. Now we can also observe that I'm having I apostrophe m, right? So how do you get that? So this is again a special character. So if you want to use a special character, then again you have to start it with a backslash. Suppose I don't give backslash and see what happens then, right? So it is still printed as a string. Now the main use of this is when we are dealing with tab. So suppose I want to have a tab space. So let's say I give slash t. See, there's a tab space here. Now suppose I want to, if I put double backslash instead of slash t, I put double backslash. Let's see what happens. You can see that one slash will be printed. So if you want to print one backslash, so just make two backslashes here. So basically, if any special character like tab space, new line, or a backslash you want to introduce, just precede it with a backslash. So these are the escape characters. We call it as escape characters. This is for single quote. This is for double quote. So if you want to have a single quote here, let's say, so I can just put here single quote. Okay, you can see that a single quote is printed here. This one. Okay, so or if you want a double quote, again, just put, see, a double quote is printed. So basically this we call it as escape characters. So for single, to get a single quote in your string, put backslash single quote. If you want to see double quote in your string, put backslash double quote. If you want a tab space, then put slash tab slash t. If you want a new line, then slash n. If you want to print a backslash in your string, then put another backslash and another backslash. So these we call it as escape characters. Now, something called as raw strings. What are raw strings? So suppose I want to, a very good example is, I want to print a user, suppose this kind of a window file path, right? So if I want to print a file path, uh, what happens is this file path is having slashes there, right? So if I just directly give the file path here and try to print, you can see that it gives you an error. Okay, see, this is my file path. I want to print it, right? So I have enclosed it as a string. That means I have enclosed it within single quotes, but it will not print, it will give you an error. So if you want, in such cases, just type here R. We call it as raw strings. So raw strings, in the sense, you can see that it is printed. So basically what are raw strings? They completely ignore all the escape characters. The escape characters which you just learned before, that would be ignored, and it prints the backslash as it is, as it appears in the string. So if I don't put R, right, it will treat this backslash as a escape character, and it will give you an error because it is having something else. After the slash, I have something else which is not valid, and therefore it's identified as an error. So if you want to print backslash as it is, then just give your R, right? So raw strings, if you you can make, yeah, you can place an R here before the beginning quotation mark of a string to make it as a raw string. Okay. Now, there's another example here. This is Carol's cat. I have backslash. I want to print this single quote. So what you do, just put a backslash. So basically this is an escape character, right? So when you put that, you can see that the backslash is also printed here. Why it is printed is because I gave here R. If I don't give R, then it will treat that as an escape character. So I hope you got this, right? So see this example here. I did not treat it as a wrong string and I gave backslash and a single quote. And therefore what happens? It treats this part as an escape character and you can see the output is like this. But suppose I want to see backslash in my output, then just put here R. It will treat it as a raw string. Now you can see backslash is there. So that's called as raw string. Now let's another example. Let's say multi-line strings with quotes, triple quotes. Suppose I want to have multi-lines, right? So for example here, right, I want to print, especially this is very useful. Suppose you want to type a letter and print it. So when you're typing a letter, you will have dear Alice, and in the next line you will have the content of your mail. Then in after some one line space, you have sincerely and the name. Now, in this case, if you want to print multi-line strings, it's very important that you enclose a string within triple quotes like this and a triple quote here. So when you print this, you can see that it is printed as it is. Now, suppose you don't give printed quotes, right? You just give a treated as a normal string. Then see the difference. It comes, right? It gives you an error. So if you want to have multi-line strings, then you have to enclose it within triple quotes. So this is about multi-line string, and very important is indentation rule for blocks do not apply to multi-line strings with triple quotes. And you can also do it in another way. An alternate way of doing this is, suppose you want have this line, right? You want to have a new line. Another alternate way of doing it is putting slash in here, right? You can also do that. So for example, instead of doing just like this, another alternative way of doing is slash in. So what I have done is, if I want to have a new line, I can just put slash in there. So here also you get the same content. There is some error here. Let's try to modify. Okay, it's here. See. Okay, so you can also have multi-line strings using slash in or using this triple quotes. Now that was about multi-line strings with triple quotes. Now how do you get multi-line comments? See, one thing is you can get comments in the form of, if you want a single line comment, just put a hash character in front of it. So that means it's the beginning of a comment, but this is like a single line comment. If you want multi-line comment, you have to just enclose it within 3 double quotes like this, right? I want all this has a all these is part of my comment. Then you just enclose this whole thing between 3 double quotes. See, there are 3 double quotes here and 3 double quotes here. Therefore what happens is the entire thing is a comment. It's a multi-line comment. Now coming to indexing and slicing in strings. Just like how you have indexing and slicing in lists, you also have it in strings. And you have to think string as actually a list. And each character in the string will be taken as an item. Okay, just the concept of list applies here. The only thing is every character here would be taken as an item of a list. Okay, so suppose this is a string here. It starts from the index 0 and it goes on, and the last character would be, so you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even space would be taken 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each character here in the string would be taken as an item as a list. And it works in the same way. Indexing, slicing works in the same way as in a list. So let's see an example here. So suppose this is the string and I want to print characters from 0 to 5. So what should be the output? 0th character would be H. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello should be printed. So let's see. So basically this is an example of slicing because I have sliced out a part of the text. Indexing. So spam of 0 is nothing but the first character. Spam of 4 is nothing but the nothing but O here. Spam of -1, same negative index concept is there. Negative index means you're taking negative. If you're counting from the right hand side, then the last character would be -1. So spam of -1 is exclamatory mark. So it is same as in list. right? If you are taking the index from the left hand side, the number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. If you start counting from the right hand side, the this exclamatory mark would be -1, then -2, -3, -4, like that it goes. This is an example of a slicing. 0 to 5 characters would be taken. What happens here? Since I have not given the starting index, by default the starting index would be 0. So that means it is equivalent to 0:5. So that is why these two are same. In this last one, we have not specified the ending index. So therefore, it will go up till the end of the string. So seventh character is W, and till the end it will be printed. That is world with exclamatory mark. So that is about indexing and slicing. Now coming to in and not in operators, just like how we have in list, right? In it will return a true or a false. Suppose this is an example, hello in hello world. So in hello world, do we have hello? Yes, it's there. So it will return a true. Hello in hello world, here also, here it's case sensitive. Since this hello is capital letter, it will return a false. Now here, double quotes in spam. So basically it's a, since I have not given here anything, right, it will return a true. I didn't give you a space also, and therefore it's returning a true. Cats, not in cats and dots. Cats, it is there, right? So not in means it would be false. Cats, it is there in cats and dog strings, and therefore it will return a false. It's not in is reverse of in. So remember, in and not in will evaluate to a Boolean value true or false, and it is case sensitive. The next concept is putting strings inside and other strings. You can put strings inside and other strings, and you can do it in different ways using %s operator. You can do it in f strings operator. You can do it through replacement. So let's see this in the Jupyter notebook. Okay, so I am trying to put a string inside another string. So let's say this is one string name and this is another string name. So this is one example. So what we have done here is, hello, my name is what? Al, which is actually a string. I am, age is actually an integer. So since I'm doing string concatenation, I would be converting this to str, right, plus years old. So therefore what would be printed is, hello, my name is Al, I am 4000 years old. That would be printed. Now this is like a string which we call it as replacement, right? Curly braces basically acts like a placeholder. So what would be printed here? My name is, in place of name I would have Al. Next year I will be age, in place of age 4000 would be printed. And remember, you have to put F here. As I told here, we are introducing F strings. F strings will have an F prefix. So basically it is very similar to interpolation, except that the braces are used instead of %s. If you have learned C, normally what happens in this place will be writing %s. So instead of that, I just put curly braces. It acts like a placeholder, and here you have to give a prefix of F. So when you give the execute this, you will see the output as, my name is Al. Next year I will be 4001 years. That's all. And the next one is another example, the same thing, but here I have not used F. I have not used, and so you can see what's the difference. And here, instead of using placeholder concept, I'm using %s. Okay, so if you execute this, you can see that the first one is basically, this is an example of string concatenation and string casting, right? I'm typecasting into string. The next one is an example of using F for string interpolation, and in the third one I have not used F. Since I have not used F, you can see the string replacement has not happened, and it is just printing age and name as it is. The third one is another way of doing string interpolation. Instead of using curly brackets, just like how you do in C, we use %s, and you have to give in parenthesis right here. So the first %s, in place of that name would come, second %s, in place of that age would come. So this is an example, these 4 examples of different ways of doing string interpolation or putting strings inside an other string. Now let's start with the string methods. Various string methods are there. Let's discuss the first one, upper and lower. So upper is a string method to convert all the letters in the original string to uppercase, and lower is a string method to convert all the letters in the original string to lowercase. So let's see an example here. So suppose this is a string I have. Here some of the characters are capital letters, some of them are small. So when I spam dot upper, when I do, so everything will be converted into uppercase. When I do spam dot lower, everything would be converted into lowercase. You can see that here. But one thing you have to remember is, it is not changing the original string. If you print here spam, it will remain as it is. See, it has not changed, right? The original string I am not changing. If you want to change, then what you have to do is you have to do something like this. Spam1 is equal to, then you have to assign it. Only then it will change. See, only now it will change. Okay, so it will not this upper and lower method will not change the original string. That you have to remember. Okay. The second one is is upper and is lower. Now the difference here is this will check whether the string is uppercase or lowercase, and it will return a true if, suppose I'm using is upper, it will return a true if all the characters are in uppercase. Even if one character is lowercase, it will return a false. Similarly for is lower. So let's see this example. Okay, so what I've done here is I am saying print how are you. You write here input, you give so what is input function do is it will wait for a prompt from the user, and whatever I enter that would be given into the keyword feeling. Now if feeling dot lower, I'm going to convert whatever I have typed into lowercase, and I'm going to compare it with great. Okay, so whatever I'm typing, I am comparing it with great, right? If it is same, if I say great, then it will say I feel great too. Otherwise, whatever, if suppose I say something else, it will print this. So let's execute. See, it has printed how are you, and it is asking for a prompt from us. Suppose I type great in capital letters. What it is doing, feeling dot lower will convert it into small letters. It is equating it, yes, this condition is true, and therefore this is being printed. Suppose I give good, then what happens? This condition is false, right? And therefore this statement is printed. So this is just an example of lowercase. So that's one of the most important application of uppercase and lowercase. Since Python is case sensitive, we commonly use this here because user can give inputs in any way, uppercase or lowercase or a mix. So it's very important that we convert it to and then give our condition. That's the main use of uppercase and lowercase. Now is upper and is lower, as I already told you, it's going to just return a true or a false. So in this case spam, you can see it's a mix of capital letters and small letters. So both the conditions, both is lower and is upper, should give false, right? Because it's a mix. It's neither completely lower, it's neither completely upper. That's the reason. Now, there are other kinds of string methods which we call it as is_x methods, where in place of x, see, in fact, even is lower and is upper is also an is_x method, right? In place of x, I can have lower, I can have upper, I can have alpha, alnum, decimal, space, and title. Let's see each one of them. See, is alpha. So it is checking here, hello is alpha. That means this method will check if all the characters in the string are alphabetic, then it will return a true. Even if one is a number, it will return a false. So is alpha is going to check all the characters in the string. Everything has to be alphabets. Otherwise, it will return a false. Okay, so we have done two examples for this. Is alnum. So here it is going to check, right? This method is going to check if the letters in this the characters in the string is either an alphabet or a number, then it will return a true. Suppose there is a special case, right? Special characters like exclamatory and all, then it will return a false. Is decimal. So that means if the string is having a decimal number or a dot, that means a dot and fractional part, then it will return a true. Otherwise, it will return a false. Is space. Suppose in this case here, I have a single space. Therefore, it will return a true. Is title. That means it's going to check whether the string I'm given is a title. Title means the first character has to be capital. Okay, the first letter in the string has to be capital. Only then it will return a true. Otherwise, it will return a false. So let's execute this. So see here, E is alpha. Yes, everything is an alphabetical character and therefore it is returning a true. This one, E is alpha. See, here it's a mix of alphabets and numbers and that is why it's returning a false. E is alpha num. Yes, it's a mix of both alphabets and numbers and therefore it's returning a true. Is alpha num. Here only alphabets are there, but it is fine. Alphabets are there, therefore it will return a true. Is decimal. Yes, 123 is decimal. Is it a decimal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it's returning a true. Now, is there a space here? Yes, therefore it's returning a true again. Is this a title case? Yes, because the first letter is a capital letter, therefore it's returning a true. This is not title case. So what happens here is it's returning a false because E's title is, let's execute this again. It's saying that because here again one more it should have been, this is again a false, because what happens here is it returns true if the string consists only of words that begins with an uppercase letter followed by only lowercase letters. So what has happened here is I have uppercase and again I have uppercase, here I have uppercase and again uppercase. It's like a mix, and that is why it's giving a false. In E's title, it's very important, it returns true if the string consists of words that begins with uppercase letter. Words should begin with uppercase letter. What is happening here? This entire word is a capital letter, and that's why it's returning a false. Okay, now, but here you see all the words are beginning with a capital letters, but here not all the words are beginning with a capital E, right? This is starting with a small letter, and here this is again a mix, right? This is having full capital letters. That is why in both these cases it's returning a false. Title case means all the words in the sentences should begin with the capital letters. That's the condition. And now let's see a small program. This program will repeatedly ask the user for their age and the password until they provide a valid input, right? So while true I'm giving. So basically I'm trying to give a continuous loop. Since for in my continuous loop I'm giving a break statement so that it comes out of this infinite loop based upon some condition, right? So what is our condition? I'm asking the user to enter the age. If suppose a user enters a name, age, and if it is a decimal number, if it is a number, then it will come out. Suppose I don't give a number, then it will be continuously in the loop. Similarly, one more infinite loop I have where I'm asking the user to select a password. And if the password I'm giving, it has to be a mix of alphabets and numbers. If it is not, right, if it is not having alphabets or numbers, then it will say it can only have letters and numbers. Suppose I give special character, then it will go back and ask again. So let's execute. Suppose I give, instead of giving a number, let's say I give some characters. See, again it will ask. Suppose again I give characters. Suppose I give some special characters. Again it will ask until I give only numbers. So now it is satisfied. It comes to the next loop. Suppose I'm giving a password, which is again having some special characters. It will ask again. It is saying that I am giving a print statement. It can only have letters and numbers. I cannot have special characters. So suppose now I give alphabets and numbers. It exits from the program. So this is a simple code where the user is asked to enter the age and password until they provide a valid input. So coming to the next one, method starts with and ends with. Now this method will return a true if the string value they called on begins or ends respectively with the strings passed to the methods. So let's see some examples to understand. See here, starts with. I'm giving a string here, and I'm saying starts with hello. Does it start with hello? Yes, that is why it is true. Ends with world? Yes, that's why it's true. Here I'm saying starts with A, B, C, D, E, F. No, it actually starts with A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and therefore it's returning a false. Ends with 12. No, it ends with 23, and therefore it's returning a false. Starts with hello world. Yes, it's true. Ends with hello world. Yes, it's completely there, and therefore it is true. So basically, starts with and ends with will return a Boolean value, true or false. Now, join methods. Now, join methods are basically used for joining the strings, right? It is basically used for joining the strings. So here, I want to join these strings, cats, rats, and bats. Now, on what basis I want to join? If I give you a comma, therefore what happens? Whenever it comes across a comma, it joins them. It joins these strings with a comma in between. Okay, so I have cats, rats, bats as my string with a comma in between. Now, in the second case, I'm joining the string my, this is one string, this is another string, this is another string, and in between I want to have space. And therefore, these are all different strings which are now become one string, but you have a space in between these strings. Now here the same thing, but I'm giving in between these strings ABC. So you can see I have all these strings, in between I have ABC. Okay, so this is called as join method. Now split method is the reverse. I'm going to split the string. Now on what condition you want to split the string, right? In the first case, since I did not, I just gave you an empty space. So what happens is when it is reading this string, when it comes across a space, right? It will take the next character as another string. Again, it came across a space. It takes the next one as another string. So that's why my name is Simon. All have become different strings. In the second one, you can see here, right? This is a continuous string. It's the reverse, right? I'm making one string into multiple strings. On what basis? So when it's reading the string, when it comes across ABC, it will treat the after C, it will treat the next one as a string. So this becomes another string, this becomes another string, and Simon becomes another string. So basically, you're splitting a string based upon the condition that I give here in this function of split, based upon the argument which I give in the split function. So here, what is the argument I'm giving? M. So whenever it comes across small m, it will split the string. So that is why you see my NA is one string. So when it will not print small m. So E until here will be another string, and this O1 will be another string. Okay. So basically split method is a reverse, where it is going to split a string into multiple strings, and the condition for splitting the string would be given as an argument in a split function. So what is a common use of split methods? You can use it very commonly. Suppose I have something like this. I have written here, dear Alice, how have you been? I'm fine. There is a container. This is, so basically I'm trying to split this based upon, suppose say slash in. So that means this should become one string, this should become another string. So every line in the string, I want it to be treated as a separate string. So the condition I give here is slash in. So what happened here? Everything. I'm going to have a list of strings now. That is why it's enclosed within square brackets. So this is one string, this is another string, this is another string, this is another string. So I'm basically splitting this entire one string into multiple strings based upon the condition here slash in. So every line would be treated as a string. Even this is treated as a string. There's an empty, there is one enter space here. Even that is treated as a space, as a string. That is why you have here like this. Okay. Next, another string method is partition method. Now partition method can split a string. This is also used for splitting a string only, but the difference is before and after a separator string would be specified, right? So for example here, say hello world, I'm saying partition W. So what happens here is I will split the string into the text before and after. So basically this would return, if you see this example, it would return three things: before, separator, and after. So this is a string. I want to partition it based upon the space, right? So wherever there is a space, when it comes across a space, it will split the string. So this would be one string, this would be another string. But this method would return three things. First argument would be the before. So that means before the separation, what is that? Separator, what is a separator? And after the separation, what? So three things would be mentioned. So if I can print these three arguments and see what is printed. So here the space would be taken as a separator. So that means this one. So what is there before the separator, the space? Hello with comma. So that is the before. What is a separator? Separator is space, and that is why that is what nothing is printed here. What is there after separator? World. So I hope you got the difference between split and partition. They can ask you what's the difference between split and partition. The difference in partition is it will return three arguments, right? Where it will tell what is the before the separation, what is the separation, and what is after the separation. So this example is very good to understand this. Okay. Also, let's see this. In this first example, I'm given the partition as W. See what is the output I'm getting here, right? Before W, hello with a hello is there. What is a separator? Separator in this case is this one, W. And what is after this W? ORLD. See this third example. What is the partition? I want to do the partition at this. See, in this example there are two O's, right? So now the question is where it will do the partition. Will it do the partition here or it will do it here? So remember, it will do the partition at the first occurrence. So it's mentioned here. If the separator you use has multiple, the separator you are mentioning in your partition function occurs multiple times, then the method will split the string only on the first occurrence. So where is the first occurrence of O? It's here. So therefore what happens? This will be taken as before. This would be the separation, and this entire thing would be the after. You need to try this on the Jupyter notebook to completely understand this. Okay. And here partition, I'm giving XYZ, but there is no XYZ, right? Suppose I'm mentioning a partition which is not there. So that would be like tricky, right? If the separator string can't be found, then the first string in the return in the tuple will be the entire string and other two strings will be empty. Okay, so remember this, if the separator string cannot be found, the first string which is returned from the tuple will be the entire string and other two strings will be empty. So in this case here, XYZ is not there in the string. Therefore, what happens? This complete thing is before. And what would be the separator? Nothing. It's empty. The separator here is empty. And what would be the after? After is also empty. It will not give any error. Remember this. Okay. If the separator you're mentioning in the partition is not found in the string, the first thing that you get from your tuple, the first string you get in your tuple would be the before. The separator would be empty and the after would also be empty, like here. So these are very good MCQ questions. You need to remember this. Okay, now coming to the next method, this is for justification, right? Just like how we do justification in Word file, right? Left justification, right justification, center justification. We can also do that in Python. So how you do it? See here. Right justification, and I've given 10. So that means there would be 10 spaces after it. Okay, right justification. See, this is my string. So what I'm doing here is hello will be mentioned rjust. So you're doing right justification hello with a total length of 10. So hello would be 5 characters. 5 spaces would be added to its left, right? Giving us a string of 10 characters totally. So this is the entire thing. So what happens? Hello would be the string and here I have 5 spaces because I gave here 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 characters here and 5 spaces here. So this is your actual output. The second one, I'm giving 20. So since I gave 20, 5 characters will go for this. Rest 15 would be the spaces. And you can see the alignment here, it is right justified. The third one, hello world, again 20. So some characters goes for it. Some, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 characters have gone for hello world. The remaining 8 spaces would be given here. Now left justification is reversed, right? I want hello on the left side. Now this is taking 5 characters and there are some 5 spaces here. So basically this is your left justification of hello. And here when you do right justification 20, I can also put some special characters. I put an asterisk. So what happens? This is right justified and the remaining out of 25 is gone, 15 is asterisk. And left justified, hello is there, the remaining 15 is minus. Center, I am putting hello in the center, 5, right? And here I have next some characters and here I have some spaces. So basically it will be center justified. When you're doing center justified, you can also put equal to. So on the left side again I will have equal to and the right side also I have equal to. So this is similar to how you have justification in Word, okay, in your Microsoft Word file. Now coming to the next one, methods, strip, rstrip and lstrip methods. So basically strip method, if you just use, it will return a new string without any white space characters at the beginning or end. If you use left strip, it will remove white spaces characters from the left hand. If I use rstrip, it will remove white space character from the right hand. See here, I have a string here like this. When I just said strip, what happens? It removed the spaces from the left hand side as well as on the right hand side and it printed this. When I said left strip, what happens? It is stripping off the white spaces from the left hand side and this is the output. When I say right strip, it is stripping off the white space characters only on the right hand side. That is why you're seeing space here. Here there is a space here. In the R strip there is a space here because it will strip the white spaces from the right hand side. See, in this example, I am specifying what has to be stripped. So basically it will strip 1, 2, 3 characters from the string and the order does not matter. So you can see both this 1, 2, 3 here and 1, 2, 3 here has been stripped and the output is ASAS. So basically strip would remove, if you just write strip without any arguments, it will strip the white space characters from the left hand side and from the right hand side. If I use L strip, it will remove white space character from the left hand side. R strip will remove white space character from the right hand side. If I specify the argument, that characters would be removed from the string irrespective of the order. Now coming to odd and character. Now odd, basically, as we know, computers will store information as bytes, right? Basically, there will be a string of binary numbers. Capital A, ASCII value is 64. For number 4, the ASCII value is 52. So if you want to know the ASCII value, you just have to put ORD as the function, right? So here, see, ORD of B, the ASCII value is 6. What is the ASCII value of capital A? 65. How do you do it? Use the ORD function, right? And you can also compare, is A less than B? How do you do it? You say ORD of A, because ORD of A is 65. Is it less than 66? Yes, and therefore it returns a true. Now what is this character doing is, you can, if you give a ASCII number, it will give you the character. It will do the reverse, right? ORD of A is what? 65, and to that I'm giving character function, and therefore it will type print A. Okay, ORD of A is 65, right? 65 plus 1 is 66. So character of 66 is capital B. Okay, so just to revise, odd function will give the ASCII value of your character. Character function will give the character taking the ASCII value as your input. So it's the reverse. Now coming to the last one more function is paperclip module. Now paperclip is actually a module. It will, under this module you have two functions, copy and paste. So basically if you want to do copy and paste functions like how you do in Word, you do in Microsoft, same thing if you want to do in Python, what you have to do is you have to first import this paperclip module, and then under that you can use the copy function and the paste function. See, by default this paperclip module will not be there in many of your Python versions. Before that, what you have to do is go to Anaconda terminal, and there you put this pip3 install paperclip. So when you do that, it will install this module. So once the paperclip module is installed successfully, what you have to do is first import the module. If it is successful, now what I'm saying is under paperclip module, two functions are there, copy and paste. When you say copy, give the functions, give the string which you want to copy, and when I just say paste, it will paste it. See, what is the output? Hello world. So basically what has happened is it copied this command, this copy function copied this command, and when I say pasted, it got pasted, right? So let's see another function example here. I'm just saying paperclip dot paste. I did not put copy. So what I will do is, let me just copy this. I'll just select this and I will do copy. I'll just take this entire thing. I will do Control C on my keyboard. Now when I execute this, you can see this entire thing is pasted. Okay, I copied this entire thing using Control C on my keyboard, and therefore since I just called paste function, the entire thing got printed, it got pasted here. So what is the use of this is, I can use this in many applications. This has basically, whenever I want to send text or receive text from your computer's clipboard, then you can use this function. Okay, so that was a quick recap of many methods in string. In the next session, we will continue with some important program called as adding bullets to wiki markup, and then in another session we will cover the next part of module 3, that is reading and writing files. Thank you so much, and please subscribe to the channel.